Welcome to the first ever Africa Climate Summit happening right at the capital city of Kenya, Nairobi, within the KICC grounds, where young people, delegates and dignitaries from across Africa have come gathered to share perspectives and come up with solutions on how they are going to make the continent climate resilient. And I will be talking to young people, getting the ideas and perspectives on what role they are going to play in mitigating climate change effects. So come with me as we talk to young people as well as to get to understand what this summit basically means to them. Basically, my job is to find out how our processes, our actions, our daily lives are turning the ecosystem into the disaster that we're experiencing as climate change today. I'd like to invite you guys to be more conscious of what you're doing to the environment, as single steps such as just riding a matatu instead of driving your big car can go a long way in saving our planet. Shout out to several organizations such as Near Green by Nana Kisha, Stand Up Shout Out by Mr. Moll, and my parent organization, Ocean Youth Innovators.
It has been a very busy week here in Nairobi. An opportunity, we had the youth summit which happened before the main summit, and then we had Africa Climate Summit, and then we're going to have the youth program from tomorrow. And it's been, first of all, the opportunity has been very nice. The sessions have been very informative, the side events, and climate change is literally everything. It's like everything under one roof. A lot of things are happening with the technology. I've been to the exhibition stalls, and we are seeing the future is promising, and a lot of young people are involved. They've also had the opportunity to air their views and give out, their statements.
Our angle is also to look at how climate change affects the pastoral communities in the urban areas. So how does this come into this context? So with the climate change, we get to have limited resources, and with these limited resources, it makes the community members fight for these resources, and this is a factor that brings the peaceful picture. And how are we going to look into distributing the resources that we have, and how are we going to adapt? And also we're here to learn about the carbon credit. How is carbon credit going to benefit the pastoralist communities? And that is something that we're very
so delighted and so blessed to be among the 30,000 delegates who have attended the Africa Climate Summit. Yes, so my experience as a delegate in this conference is my mind is fully blown away through the different conversations, through the panel sessions, and even the speeches from the keynote speakers. I have interacted with so many young people across the board in most of the 55 countries in Africa, and also even beyond, in America, in Argentina and Germany. And we are having the same conversation of improving the climate into our continent as Africa, and also looking on ways to mitigate the climate, things like deforestation, avoiding that, and looking for ways and means of improving our climate, and looking for possible ways of advocacy.
Are getting to get more recognized and also getting to contribute more towards climate change. So far, it's been the third day. I've learned a lot, and I've known even now as a young person I'm out to align towards the manufacturing sector and see that I contribute more. And I've also been able to network with people from different countries, and yes, some of them who interacted online, I've been able to meet them in person, and the conversations have been getting good and better. Yes, so thanks to the African Climate Summit for organizing this, and I'm looking to see more climate leaders come up and we can network more.
The role I can play as Cynthia from Kenya and Africa in large is by planting more trees in different counties all over the country, mobilizing more youths to come through the universities and institutions, so that we can plant more trees to bring more rainfall and to ensure that food security has increased, and therefore will not be hungry as a country and Africa in large.
What this Africa Climate Summit means to me, since it's the first we're having, to be specific, in Kenya, it's a great opportunity for us, mostly the young people, to network and try to foster some collaborations with like-minded organizations for future engagements as we try to save our Mother Nature and Earth.
We are so grateful for the opportunity anyway, and we're so happy that we're able to pull 30 plus people from 14 African countries to come learn about how to tell their climate stories, their African climate stories. So that's been my experience at the workshop so far.
So during this summit as well, I was a speaker at an IGAD side event where we spoke about the role of innovations and youth power in food security. You've seen how fragile the African food chain system is. And we've also had some speaking and engagements on, where I was a speaker and a panelist, on the role and how we can transition from activism, what we do in the streets, into real impact, measurable, specific objectives that have tangible results. And tomorrow we're going to have another session, which is really going to be interesting, and we're going to be discussing about how do we move the climate conversation from being an argument between the global north and the global south into doing what we can and where we can, because as you know, it is not asking about what can the country do for us, but what can we do for the country.
So today I am in Nairobi, Kenya, attending the Africa Climate Summit and the Africa Week, where we had about thousands of people coming in from all over the world to discuss the green economy. The theme of this event is green economy and climate finance solutions for Africa and the world. And what I take from this event is a diversity of really very many people that are pushing for Africa, that are pushing for a green economy. And we are basically leveraging different SDGs such as climate change, health, education, peace and security to execute and also to work towards an environment where children are able to thrive and have equal rights, have access to their fundamental rights. What we want to see is an Africa that is green, an Africa that has solutions. My expectation has been solutions, and I think we have been able to see them in very many plenaries, in very many sessions we've had, but we do not want to just talk about the solutions.
I attend many conferences, many panels, and I learn more about climate change in Africa, how to mobilize finance, how to fight against climate change in Africa, how to be a good leader, how to be a very good example about climate change in Africa.
I'm the chairperson of Water, Natural Resources, Tourism and Climate Change Committee in Bungoma County. I led the team in bringing about the climate change bill in the county assembly, which we are looking forward as a county to benefit from the FLOCA finance coming from the World Bank and other partners who are geared, who are putting their resources towards the climate change initiatives and the mitigations. So I've participated in the African Climate Summit in Nairobi. We've worked to deliver on the Nairobi Declaration and calling upon the development partners from both the globe, south and north, to align and coordinate their technical and financial resources directed towards Africa to promote sustainable utilization of the African natural assets for the continent's progress towards the low carbon development and contribute to the global decarbonization. I believe this will help Africa to fully gain on this climate change issue and the issues of relating to carbon. We also need to teach our people about the carbon and the alternative energies that can be utilized.
Personally, I have been here for the last 6 days. I have started with the Africa Youth Climate Assembly. The Africa Youth Climate Assembly was a success. We were able to capture whatever young Africans wanted their leaders to capture the global stage. You know, as young people, we have always attended events as ushers, as people who are used as people who don't make to the table. But this time round, what we say is that we want to be at the table, we want to be at decision-making level, at continental level, and at international forums. This Africa Youth Climate Assembly has culminated to the Africa Climate Summit. The Africa Climate Summit has seen diverse organizations and governments attending. I want to give big congratulations to the Kenya government for this wonderfully organized event. This was beyond my expectations. I've never seen such an event with such a theme colored. Sometimes I even wonder, is this Kenyans who are doing this? But what do we say?
We say we don't have time, because if we look around, we're having severe droughts, flash floods, and we're experiencing severe climate change impacts. We don't have time to wait. We don't have time to sit in conferences and talk. It's time for us to take action, because that's the only way we can be able to save our earth and safeguard the future generations.
Now and tomorrow, we plant more trees, we form groups to conserve the environment, the forest.
And when I go back to my university and my places of influence, I'm looking forward to bring the same message, advocating the same message of empowerment and providing greener climate for my children and my generation.
My commitment is I will make action in my country, in the Sahel, for Africa. When I will go back, I'm sure I will try to plant more trees, and my vision in 2023 is to plant 1 million trees in my country. Yeah, this is my commitment, and I am really sure, I'm very sure that I will do it in my country very soon.
We want to have these solutions on the ground, especially on ground with young people, youth-led organizations that are doing a lot of this work and are coming up innovations. We want climate finance for Africa. We want climate solutions that are benefiting young people.
We don't need to borrow West agricultural practices to implement our climate solution strategy. We can keep up with the things that our foreign fathers started, and that's why we are talking issues about food sovereignty, seed sovereignty, food safety, and food security. We need to dominate our own practices. We need to have our voices need to be heard. We don't need Western influence to mitigate our issues when we're talking about climate change.
The message remains the same, that young people and those people from ASAL regions and at the grassroots are suffering. We don't have time to waste. We don't have time to sit at forums and discuss and put papers and ask and beg others to implement. All we are saying is that we want these things to be implemented now. That's our message. Implementation now, youth at the decision-making table now, adaptation now, resilience now. Yes.
Young people's voices have been heard. Women have spoken their issues. The private sector has brought forward their solutions. The national government has also had a stake in it, as well as the county government and global partners. Funders have come and addressed funding issues, and statistics have been shared. Researchers have come to share some of the findings in regards to how climate action affects the different sectors, such as health, such as industrialization, and the community as a whole. So the biggest highlight has been how all these parties have found a common platform to sit down, talk, engage in intergenerational dialogue, and come up with collective solutions on how they can collectively work together to ensure the climate resilience for our continent, Africa. Big shout out to the world, and we are looking forward to having such and more engagements across the world with Africa being represented. We hope that this conversation does not stop here, but it is enhanced in the community level, at the national level, at the county level, at the regional level, as well as the global level. We need Africa to stand firm, because we can beat and we can rise above the impending climate crisis if you take a personal initiative as well as the person next to you in the community. Thank you so much. Until next time.